So today we will discuss about fertilization, obviously human fertilization. So fertilization is a process by which male and female gametes or haploid gametes fuse and form diploid zygote. So let's see what's the definition of fertilization. So human fertilization is the union of human egg and sperm. Egg is female reproductive cell and sperm is male reproductive cell, which are haploid in chromosome number, occurring in the ampulla of fallopian tube. Later we will see where ampulla locates. The result of this union leads to the production of zygote, which is diploid cell, or fertilized egg, which is diploid, initiating prenatal development. So this is the basic concept, basic definition of fertilization. So what we can see here is that two gametes female and male, they will fuse and form zygote. So this is the basic concept of fertilization.
So now let's focus upon the female reproductive organ. So this is female reproductive organ. So this is vagina, the opening of vagina. Okay, so this portion is called cervix. Cervix is the junction between uterus and vagina. Cervix. This portion is called endometrium. This is the uterine wall, endometrium. So endometrium means where implantation occurs after fertilization. Those fertilized ovum will come and implant in endometrium, and zygote will form here. Next, these are the ovaries, and this is the uterus, and these two tubes on both sides are called oviduct or fallopian tubes. This portion is called fallopian tube. Okay, so this portion of fallopian tube is called ampulla, where ovum will come and fertilize. Okay.
So the site of fertilization is ampulla of the fallopian tube. You already know where ampulla locates. So this portion is ampulla of fallopian tube. Okay. Now let's see the process. What is ovulation and from where it occurs? So these are the two ovaries of female reproductive organ. So ovulation is the release of egg from these ovaries. So in each month, by one menstrual cycle, one egg will release to the fallopian tube from one ovary, not from two ovaries. Each month one egg will release from any of these ovary alternatively. Okay, so before 13 to 15 days of menstruation, egg will release from the ovary and it comes to fallopian tube. Okay, now this egg can be fertile up to 24 hours. So you can say that within 12 to 24 hours sperm should come over here and fertile these eggs. So when these eggs release to fallopian tube, release from ovary and comes to fallopian tube, in this portion is called ampulla isthmic junction or ampulla of fallopian tube, where fertilization occurs. Egg will rest for another 30 hours, or you can say egg will wait for sperm to come over here and fertile the egg. Okay, now let's see how sperm will come and fertile the egg. This is vagina. So during coitus, sperm will release in this posterior vaginal portion. So after releasing of sperm will face some difficulties to cross over vagina, cervix, uterine wall and go to ampulla. So there 1.5 to 5 milliliter of semen contains 200 to 500 million of sperms, but sperm will face some difficulties and at least several thousand sperm will reach to the ampulla and other will die or destroyed by different processes. let's see. So the first barrier is the acidic pH of vagina. So sperm can survive in alkaline medium because the pH of sperm is 7.5 to 8, but in vagina the pH is 3.5 to 4, which is extremely acidic. So in vagina sperm cannot live or cannot penetrate because it loses motility. So what will be next? So from these 200 to 500 million sperms, some sperm will die or cannot cross this vagina and enter the cervix because of the low pH of the vagina. So here some sperm will go to cervix. How they will survive? So seminal fluid and cervical mucus present in the posterior vaginal portion. So in this portion, seminal fluid and cervical mucus will present, which is alkaline in nature. So which decreases the pH of the vagina and favor the sperm to enter the cervix. So in alkaline medium, sperm will not die, sperm will gain its motility. So in this portion, those seminal fluid and cervical mucus form some alkaline medium and sperm will survive. Some sperm, not all sperm, few sperm will survive and they can enter the cervix. After overcoming the acidic pH of vagina, the sperm will come to the second barrier, which is cervix. So the entry of the cervix is very small or narrow, from where sperm cannot pass easily. This is the second barrier. And the third barrier is in cervix there is mucus which prevent the sperm to penetrate through cervix and come to uterus. But a few sperm can finally overcome and they can come to uterus. Other barriers are the narrow uteroplacental junctions, uterotubular junctions, and the presence of phagocytic cells or leukocytes in the vagina, which kill the sperms. And after crossing all these barriers, sperm can finally come in contact of the egg. Okay, now let's see how fertilization occurs finally. Capacitation. What is sperm capacitation? So freshly ejaculated sperm is unable or poorly able to fertilize. Okay, because they don't have the motility to go to the egg. After coitus, the sperm must undergo through capacitation in female reproductive tract over several hours, which increases the motility and destabilizes its membrane, preparing it for the acrosomal direction. So basically, the main motto of capacitation is to make the sperm more prone, more capable to fertilize the egg. Okay. Ovulation. So ovulation is the release of egg from your ovary into the fallopian tube. So it is typically happens about 13 to 15 days before menstruation. But one point we should note that in every month by one menstrual cycle, from one ovary, one egg will release to the fallopian tube, not from both ovaries. 1 month, one menstrual cycle, from one ovary, one egg will release. Okay. Next, following ovulation, the egg is capable of fertilization for only 12 to 24 hours. So within 12 to 24 hours, sperm should come to fertile the egg. Once the egg arrives at a specific portion of the tube, which is called ampulla isthmic junction, this portion, so ampulla isthmic junction, it rests for another 30 hours. At the specific time, sperm will come and fertilize the ovum. Okay. The next process is attraction of sperm towards ovum. So capacitated sperm means which sperm undergoes through capacitation. Capacitated sperms are attracted to progesterone hormone, which is secreted from the cumulus cells surrounding by the oocytes. So later we will see the formation of the oocytes, the structure of the oocytes. then we will realize what is cumulus cells. Progesterone bind to the Caspar receptors. Caspar is one kind of receptor or gene on the sperm membrane that increases intracellular calcium level, causing hypermotility, means extra motility, superfast motility of the sperm towards the ovum. So this Caspar receptor of sperm membrane, which binds to progesterone and makes sperm more motile towards ovum. Understand? Okay. Next, attachment to coronary radiator. So now let's see what is coronary radiator. So this is secondary oocyte. So this is secondary oocyte which is released from the ovary and comes to fallopian tube, ampulla fallopian tube. So here you can see these cells are, the outermost part is corona radiata cells. The outermost part is corona radiata cells. Okay. This is the nucleus of secondary oocyte. These layer, this dotted layer is called, the cells of the dotted layer is called zona pellucida. So this is zona pellucida. This outer portion is corona radiata. This is nucleus. Okay. This membrane, this innermost membrane is called vitelline membrane. So this innermost membrane is called vitelline membrane. Vitelline membrane. So this is vitelline membrane, and the space between the vitelline membrane and zona pellucida is called perivitelline space. This space is called perivitelline space. Okay. So now mature sperm came to this secondary oocyte, and later they are trying to go inside the cytoplasm of ovum. Okay. So attachment to corona radiata. So initially sperm binds through the corona radiata a layer of follicular cells outside the secondary oocyte. So this is corona radiata. Now zona pellucida. After corona radiata there is zona pellucida. So sperm at first come and bind to corona radiata, then piercing through corona radiata it comes to zona pellucida. So after binding to corona radiata, the sperm reaches the zona pellucida, which is an extracellular matrix of glycoproteins. So this is extracellular matrix of glycoproteins where 4 events will occur. So what are the 4 events? One is attachment, second is binding, third is acrosomal reaction, and the 4th is penetration. So let's see the 4 processes. So attachment. So first, attachment. Sperm attaches to zona pellucida. So sperm comes and attaches to zona pellucida. Next, binding. So sperm binds to zona pellucida, ZP zona pellucida. So sperm binds to the glycoprotein of zona pellucida. Third, acrosomal reactions. So acrosomal reaction. So release of acrosomal enzymes. There are enzymes in the head of the acrosome which will release. The enzymes are acrosin, hyaluronidase, and acid phosphatase. These enzymes will release and destroy the zona pellucida layer. This layer, zona pellucida layer, and it comes to the perivitelline space. So next, penetration. So sperm penetrates zona pellucida, and then some cortical reactions happen. So what are the cortical reactions? Let's see. Cortical reaction means after entering the sperm into the cytoplasm, several reactions occur over here, which is called cortical reaction. So once the sperm cell cross zona pellucida, this layer, Cortical reaction occurs. Cortical granules inside the secondary oocyte fuse with the plasma membrane of the cell, causing enzymes inside these granules to be expelled by exocytosis to the zona pellucida. So what's the effect of this? So it makes whole matrix hard and impermeable to sperm by cross-link. So polyspermy will be prevented by this method. By these acrosomal reaction and cortical reactions, which we have discussed earlier, these reactions helps to prevent polyspermy. Means by the acrosomal reaction and cortical reaction and so on, after entering the sperm cytoplasm into the secondary oocyte, a barrier will form outside the secondary oocyte cytoplasm, which prevents another sperm to come inside the cytoplasm. So only one selected sperm, one physically able sperm can enter the cytoplasm and fertile the egg. After entering one sperm, there will be a tough wall formation which will prevent to come further sperm to come inside. Okay, process is fusion of cytoplasm. So after sperm enters the cytoplasm of the oocyte, tail and outer coating disappears. The tail and the outer coating of the sperm disappears. Oocyte now undergoes its second meiotic division. After the entry of the sperm, we have learned in the previous chapter that those oocytes stay in secondary oocyte until sperm will come and fertile. So secondary oocyte now undergoes its secondary meiotic division, produce haploid ovum plus polar bodies. So these polar bodies are formed, which is the cell without cytoplasm. So Lipschitz chains. So this haploid ovum comes in contact with sperm cytoplasm. So sperm nucleus fuses with ovum. So fusion of the genetic material occurs, which form zygote 2n. Genetic material, sperm and ovum genetic material means ANN. They will combine. That's all.